Don in London. It's June 25th, 2009. I'm smiling because it looks like the weather's going to be good. My videos are not about the weather, actually. They're all about recovery from addiction. My recovery from addiction was alcohol and behaviour. Substance and behaviour were my addictions. Alcohol and behaviour, workaholic, relationshipaholic, any oldism you can possibly imagine. So if you've ever overindulged in something on one day and felt a bit sick because of it, you have overindulged. It's a bit of a binge. It's only when you join up the binges, or they become so frequent you can't identify where they start and where they end, that possibly addiction might be a problem. And we're addicted to life, living. So if we give up things which are bad for us and stick with those which are good for us, how hard is that? Well, in this world it seems very difficult, because we seem programmed, if we like something, to keep on at it for far too long. And then the addiction comes in, where no amount of persuasion from ourselves to stop it, and no amount of persuasion from others to stop it, using our self-will and willpower, it doesn't work. Why is that? Simply because we're just as human as the rest of anybody. If you put us under the cosh of a particular behaviour or substance for long enough, no matter how, I suppose, self-willed and will-powered we are, it will finally get us. And if it doesn't get us in the intellectual sense, it will certainly kill us. And that is the absolute tragedy of where the addictions take us. So whilst I smile a bit about how life is today, I can, because I'm in recovery, and that's just one day at a time. So who and what have I got to thank for being in recovery? Simply family, community, society, professionals, and a fellowship. And a fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, because it is alcohol that I principally was addicted to. So for me now, to be able to sit here and say I'm okay today, just means I've got the daily reprieve, which is, if I don't take a drink today, I can't get drunk. And if I don't take a drink today, I won't think about having another one later, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, 1 day later, 10 days later, provided I keep good company, where I'm included part of something, and there is a way of dealing with drink or not drinking on a daily basis. So Alcoholics Anonymous is synonymous with sobriety for me. There are many ways to get sober, and AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is not the only way. But it works for me, and I can share how it helps me, but I can't share about other people and what it's doing for them, simply because it's anonymous, and for me that provides sanctuary to find the truth. So anonymity is key to people being able to express their truth in a place where it's okay to do so, and they're not going to get judged harshly because of it. Or if you do get judged harshly because of it, then you're in with the wrong group of people, and go find another meeting. So I guess, we're all human. We are all human, just making progress as we can. But addiction is an absolute killer. It kills the spirit, it kills our emotional base, and it kills us physically if we do it for long enough. It's a poison, and I can say that with some heartfelt, not sanctimony, absolute fear of what it did to me in the end. And that fear, putting on a brave face, and ego, I hope, are utilised less these days than courage, faith and confidence just to face the day as it is. And the AA Preamble, the meetings, there is always a preamble which is shared whether you're an old-timer or a newcomer, and we share it because it's about what is the fellowship, what it can do and what it can't do. It cannot fix people. People make choices based on better information and wisdom. So the preamble goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism, which is why I do these videos. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And on my way to a meeting yesterday, I bumped into somebody I know who was in the fellowship and is taking a sabbatical, I guess, for a long time because it didn't suit them. And they're sober and they're happy. Now, how did that happen? And the gift is, when we get our choices back, how we live our lives and how we include or exclude influences is our own personal choice. And I respect them immensely for being sober and not needing, I suppose, the support of a society or fellowship. And their main concern was, a lot of the time it sounded like it was based on fear. If you do this, you're going to be in trouble. And people can be condescending, and I can be that way on these videos, I suspect. Because if you don't want sobriety, it's like somebody telling you the worst news, and it is the worst news. If you're an alcoholic, you have to give up that substance. Or is it? Because in the end it is killing us, and it's shortening our lives. And 1 in 13, according to the National Health Service in the UK, has a problem with drink or binging or something. So modern life is not always good for us. And in my videos I try to cover a bit about the steps of AA, a 12-step program of action to change attitude and behaviour. And step 6 is all about our defects of character, seven deadly sins. And step 7, which I'll talk about more in July, is about the virtues of life. So there are 7 virtues as well. And it's not unusual that these deadly sins and virtues, well, they're linked, of course, and there is a spiritual connection, which is to living truthfully in the moment. And whether you're religious or not, or an agnostic, the sins and the virtues probably apply to everybody. And I got them off the internet, so don't think I'm being clever here. 7 deadly sins. There is pride, which is spiritual sin; envy, which is spiritual sin; wrath, spiritual sin affected by body; and the 4 corporal sins: sloth, greed, gluttony, lust. Well, there's 7 for you. And the virtues: faith, hope, charity, prudence, temperance, fortitude, and justice. And it then goes on to say here, where I got it from: humility cures pride, kindness cures envy, abstinence cures gluttony, chastity cures lust, patience cures wrath, liberality cures greed, diligence cures sloth. And what a tall order, we would say in AA, to try and work on all of those. But the good thing is we only have to do it for a day, and then another day, and then another one. It's just a cumulative wisdom. And in this daily reflection book today, I've got time for a two-way street. And when I say God, it's the God of your understanding, or your good conscience, or whatever higher power you're currently in favour of. And I don't know where I am on any daily basis. I could be an agnostic, an atheist, or a believer. It just depends how the day's going, doesn't it, and what's happening to us. But it says here, if we ask God, or good conscience, will certainly forgive our derelictions, but in no case does he render as white as snow, and keeps us that way without our cooperation. That comes from the 12 steps and 12 traditions. It goes on to say, when I prayed, I used to admit a lot of things for which I needed to be forgiven. I thought that if I didn't mention these things to God, or good conscience, although they're still in there, he would never know about them. I didn't know that if I had just forgiven myself for some of my past deeds, God would forgive me also. I was always taught to prepare for the journey through life, never realizing that until I came to AA, when I honestly became willing to be taught forgiveness and forgiving, that life itself is the journey. The journey of life is a very happy one, as long as I am willing to accept change and responsibility. And those 12 steps are all about attitude and behaviour change. So from moving from the sins to the virtues, we're not looking for perfection, because that's an impossibility. And the only step of AA which can actually help us keep 100% on track is observing step 1. If we take a drink, we are powerless over it once we've taken it, and life will become unmanageable. So that's called the 100% step if you stay sober. And sober can be looked at so many different ways, and I'm glad that AA helps me. And I'm also pleased when I hear that other people have found another path which suits them. Absolutely, we need more than one way, and that's what Bill Wilson, one of the co-founders, suggested long ago. We must not get arrogant about fellowship. Anyway, it's time to go. So the serenity prayer: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today.